Chapter 25. Hallie. The noise from the arena lobby is yet to die down, even long after the game ended, and people started to leave. I managed to secure myself one of the tall tables and seats that bordered the room to attempt to draft a chapter. Henry tasked me with saying no more, which I'm putting into practice by telling myself no when I try to do anything that isn't working on my WIP now that Thanksgiving is done. The manuscript was a good distraction from how sad I felt on Thursday, after I got home from work to an empty house and Gigi and Maisie were too sleepy to talk. Mrs. Astor hosted her family and was sweet enough to leave me a plate in the fridge. She also stole my cat, but she did have the courtesy to forewarn me. One of her granddaughters is autistic, and Joy helps her regulate at busy family events, so I don't mind sharing her. A work in progress at least needs to be in progress, and now the load feels lighter, even if it's only temporarily. I need to stop feeling sorry for myself for being behind and actually do something about it. I've been surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, depending on how you look at it, productive after my total meltdown. I realized I wasn't uninspired, something I previously struggled with. I've been distracted. Sure, I doubt anyone would judge me for spending so much of my time under a sweet, hot hockey player, but still, I'm a woman with goals. I can have it all and I will. I just need to actually try. I can't continue to be distracted by a pretty face and a stellar personality, even if it is the prettiest face and the most stellar personality. Speaking of the prettiest face, Henry exits the door that now has 2 no entry signs, much to the happiness of the people still hanging around. There's cheers all around when they spot him, and as happy as it makes me to see him be celebrated, I cringe for his sensitivity to loud noises. I attempt to focus on planning how I'm going to make my make-believe people kiss and fight, instead of trying not to laugh at how unimpressed Henry looks as people stop to talk to him. When 2 women approach him, his name on the back of their jerseys, the ability to pay attention to my laptop gets that little bit harder. I can hear one of them laughing loudly from across the room, and the other puts her hand on his arm. I don't hear what Henry says, and I'm still pretending to be working when I spot him walking toward me in my peripheral vision. He stops next to me, the chair I'm sitting on putting us at similar heights, so I can see how big his smile is when I turn to face him. "Hello. You won," I say simply. 2 days in a row and I saw them both. Does that make me your biggest fan? Of course I won. He kisses me hard, dropping his bag on the floor to tangle his hands in the hair at the nape of my neck. He only breaks us apart when the passing hockey fans start whooping. He rests his forehead against mine. "You're my lucky charm. I told you. Science." Kissing in front of people is not something we do, even after the incident at the hotel. But as the 2 women in the Turner jerseys storm off, I suspect maybe the kiss wasn't for my benefit. You can just reject people, you know. You don't need to put on a show for them. He leans back to look at me, his hands still resting on my neck. "What are you talking about? Kissing me? The girls in the jerseys? Just tell them no." I did. Then I came over here to celebrate our win. I grumble. I still feel like he was using me to send a message to people he's too tired to deal with. If you say so. "Are you being unreasonable to start a fight?" he asks. "It's fine if you are, but can you save your rage until we get home? If we're going to fight about this, we should fight about it somewhere we can make up." I stare at his chest and shrug. We're not fighting, and I'm not being unreasonable. My bad. I meant dramatic. I mumble that I'm not, and he tugs a little on my ponytail to force me to look up at him. "And you are." He pecks my lips and I melt like the weak woman I am. But I don't mind. We haven't had a fight yet. It's a good experience for you. If you tell me I'm dramatic one more time, we are going to be fighting, I drawl. He grins, and after a losing streak, seeing him genuinely happy after a game is a dream. You're not doing a lot for your "I'm not dramatic" case. We're officially fighting, I declare. In my head, I sound serious and intimidating, but he gives me that damn smirk and kisses the tip of my nose, and it's clear he does not care one bit. 2 wins and a fight with you. I'm so lucky. I have to get back, but you're going to wait here, right? He peeks at my laptop screen where my Word document is open. What are your imaginary friends doing today? It sounds patronizing, and it is in reality, but Henry started calling my characters my imaginary friends when I said it felt weird calling them their names. And I like when he shows an interest, now that I have something to actually tell him. They're not communicating, and instead are dancing around what they want from each other. He scoffs. Sounds like us. We communicate, I argue. We just communicated that we're in a fight because you kissed me to get rid of some women you're too tired to entertain. Hallie, he says softly, the only person I want to entertain is you. You and your dramatics keep me totally occupied. I kissed you because I'm a really big fan of kissing you. Some might say obsessed. It's the first thing I thought about doing when I got off the ice. Being here listening to you create imaginary conflict is going to get me into an actual conflict with Faulkner. But it's worth it. An obsession sounds pretty dramatic if you ask me, I mutter, burying my head in his chest to hide my face from him. You should go do your leadery duties and leave me to my imaginary friends, I guess. I'm excited to fight with you when I'm done, he says, kissing my forehead. Can we save the fight until a later date? I'm kinda a big fan of not fighting with you ever, I say teasingly. He nods as he laughs, walking away. It's not until he's going back through the no-access door that I realize quite how many people are watching me. I dig my headphones out of my purse and concentrate on my characters dancing around what they want from each other, and definitely not on Henry saying that sounds like us. There is no feeling more unnatural than silence in Henry's house. While everyone piled in here earlier to celebrate their much-wanted wins, when they all headed out, Henry told them he was staying in tonight with me. I'm pretty sure he said, with Hallie, so they couldn't argue with him, and I don't mind being his get-out-of-jail-free card if he's tired from the adrenaline. As soon as I made myself comfortable on his bed with my laptop, he disappeared into another room. And when he came back, he was wearing his painting clothes and had a fresh canvas under his arm. He did not entertain my excitement that I was going to see him do something more than sketch. Instead, he sat on the floor and opened a small palette of paints. And that's where he's been since. I don't know what he's painting, but given he's never let me see his work properly before, I'm too scared to ask in case it causes him and his canvas to scurry off somewhere else in the house. I can feel you watching me, he says, as he swishes his paintbrush against the material. Watching sounds creepy. I'm admiring. I love your artwork. The little you show me, anyway. I only get to see the things he does for me, not for himself. The drawings of joy. The flowers he draws because I prefer them to real ones now. The portrait of Quack Efron, being a distinguished gentleman wearing a suit, and not forgetting the things he draws on me. Henry places the paintbrush between his teeth and stands from the floor with his palette and the towel it was sitting on. He throws the towel onto the bed beside me and puts the paint down. With one hand, he closes my laptop and puts it on his bedside table, takes the paintbrush out of his mouth with the other, and sets it next to the palette. What are you doing? He climbs on top of me, straddling my hips so I can't move. I'm painting. Can I lift your shirt up? You're going to paint on my stomach? I ask, already knowing the answer before he nods. It's not flat. I've seen your stomach before, he says, like I'm ridiculous for even pointing it out. Why does that matter? It's just not toned, and I have some marks. And I'm pretty sure there's a few black hairs beneath my belly button that I haven't tweezed. It isn't weird to me that you have stretch marks. He pulls the arm of his t-shirt up and flexes, twisting, until I spot the faint faded lines on his biceps. I have them. You don't need to feel insecure. I wouldn't say I immediately feel super defensive, but there is an aspect of how I want to react that is to defend myself. I know my body isn't what society would define as perfect, but I've worked hard to love myself through the years when it's felt like everything is designed to convince me not to. I'm not insecure. I like my body, I say. Other people seeing it isn't something I'm used to, that's all. I was just worried it wouldn't be a good canvas. You're my perfect canvas, Hallie, every part of you, but good to both of those things. I like your body too, and I like being the only one to see it. Perfect canvas. What are you going to paint? You'll have to wait and see. I lift my t-shirt and tuck it under my bra to keep it out of his way. He doesn't talk while he gets to work, starting with large strokes across my ribs and below my belly button, followed by hundreds, if not thousands, of smaller dabs and flicks. He hums to himself, occasionally pausing to sit back to assess his work. Every brush stroke feels like a kiss against my skin, and when he checks if I'm okay, I can only nod, because the tenderness of it all is too much. It feels so personal and so special, and he wants to do it with me. He climbs off me and works from my side, lying on his stomach, then my other side, then between my legs. Every so often he asks me if I need anything, but I say no because I don't want this to end. It does end, and he makes me lie on the bed until it dries so I don't ruin his masterpiece. Do I get to paint on you next? I ask, moving very slowly as he helps me get off his bed and walk toward his full-length mirror. No, I've seen your doodles. You're really bad at art. You're so rude sometimes. Do you know that? I grumble, scowling at him over my shoulder as we walk across the room. He covers my eyes as we take the final few steps. Everyone tells me not to filter what I say until it's time to tell them they're bad at art. Are you ready? Show me. Henry takes away his hands, but stays close behind me. His face presses into my neck, kissing over where my pulse is hammering. Lilac and lavender swirls intersect with pearlescent white clouds across my ribcage. Soft hues of pinks and blues and greens decorate my skin in the most delicate way. White and yellow blend seamlessly into it all. It takes me a second to realize what it is. You like meadows. It's the first thing you ever drew on me. I spend a lot of time daydreaming about lying in them. Feels like it would be peaceful. I've developed a fondness for daisies, too. There's an H on the lower left corner of my stomach in thick black cursive. It's the only bold color on my stomach. You signed me. His fingers dance across the skin beneath his initial. How does it make you feel when you look at it? Pretty, I respond, answering honestly and feeling more vulnerable than I have before. You always make me feel pretty. You feel like that because you are pretty, Hallie. Promise me you'll let me experience going to a meadow with you. I promise.
Chapter 26. Henry. Finals is the only time of the year when I feel like I have the upper hand academically over all my friends. I always do well in my exams because I've found a system that works to get the best out of me. Practical work has never been a stress for me because I enjoy it so much, and written work falls into my system. It's simple. I let the impending dread build and build until I start to convince myself that if I don't start doing something, there's no way I'll pass. And then I start studying. Is it the perfect strategy? No. Is it perfect for me? Yes. And it's never done me wrong. Poppy stared at me with her mouth slightly ajar while I explained it to her and Hallie. I told her I wanted to react in the same way when I found out she wants to be a kindergarten teacher. Sure, my method isn't as tidy as Hallie's highlighted timetable or Anastasia's not one but two planners, but I'm the only person not freaking out yet about our imminent end-of-term exams. And holy shit does it feel good. My and Professor Thornton's professional partnership is about to come to a grinding halt, and I've never felt better about never having to talk to someone ever again. I survived, largely because of Hallie's kindness and determination. But I survived. Now I just need to continue to survive hockey, and I might not entirely fuck up my college career. Hallie looked at me with pure panic when I told her I'd be putting in extra time at the gym instead of following her meticulously planned lead. It's safe to say she doesn't believe me when I say I thrive under pressure. She pointed out that her concern isn't lack of belief in me. It's because every time I've been under hockey pressure, like losing, I've had what she calls a meltdown. I can't see her point. When everyone collectively agrees to concentrate on textbooks instead of beer pong tonight, I try my hardest to look disappointed. Hallie and Aurora are giggling across from me, whispering to each other like a couple of kids. What? Nothing, Hallie says quickly, eyes flicking back down to her paper. I look to Aurora, saying nothing because I know I don't need to. She'll tell me if I stare at her long enough. It's around 12 seconds. You're just a terrible actor, Hen. I've never seen anyone look so relieved not to get to go on a night out. I'm devastated, Aurora. I'm surprised you can't tell. To me, it sounds convincing, but for whatever reason, they start giggling again. I don't know whose idea it was to have a late-night group study session, but if it means I don't have to go to a sweaty frat party, I'm all for it. The front door opens, and Russ and Robbie appear holding bags of food. Russ looks at me and nods toward the den. Can I talk to you? Sure. I follow him and sit at the table and hold my hand out for Russ to give me the burrito he just got. Russ immediately places a laptop in front of me. When he lifts the screen, I realize what this is about. The student portal is staring back at me like something from my nightmares. Do it, Henry, or I'm not giving you your food. You can't run off to Hallie's place and avoid me now. We're all here, and you're doing this. I promised you I'd make you. He takes my food out of the bag, holding the foil wrapper out of my reach. We both know I'm faster than he is. If I went for it, I could probably get it before he has a chance to fight me off. You're being ridiculous. Press the buttons, Hen. Do it, or I'm putting your dinner in the trash. Did you offer me a burrito with this in mind? I ask, swishing my finger across the mouse pad but not clicking on anything. Yes. I'm not a dog, I grumble. Did he do it yet? Robbie yells from the kitchen. He rolls himself into the den where we're sitting around the table, apparently where I'm signing up for classes, not where I'm eating a burrito. Robbie hands me a plate for the food I don't have and takes his spot at the table beside Russ. What do I need to do to get you to do what you need to do for next semester? Does that even make sense? I ask, making him roll his eyes at me. You promised me a month ago you were going to sign up for your classes on time. It's important that you don't have this weighing on you. It's important that I don't get fucking fired by Coach if we have a repeat of September. I'll give you anything in. Name your price and just sort this out. I must have forgotten to tell them that Hallie made me do this 2 weeks ago. But I'll always seize an opportunity to get something from Robbie. Just log in and tell me what classes you want to take and I'll do it for you, Russ says. Then you can forget about it until after the new year. I haven't decided what I want to do yet, I say, enjoying how both of their eyes widen. I might take Thornton's other class. What do you mean? What do you want to do? You've been complaining about him for literally months, Robbie snaps. Russ unwraps his burrito slowly, and I stare at mine longingly. Is that the one Aurora and Hallie are doing? The sex one? Robbie stops eating his own food and glares at me. Please, Tell me you aren't considering putting yourself through more misery just to study sex with Hallie. Do it in your bedroom like a normal couple. Don't get fucking graded on it. I ignore when he and Russ both mutter, "We're not a couple," under their breath before I can. I shrug nonchalantly. It sounds interesting. I like 18th century art. You need to get laid, Robbie says, like I'm not incredibly aware of that fact. You've lost your mind. Henry, promise me you're not going to do it. You can spend every spare second with her if you want to. You don't need to be with her during college hours, too. You don't like him, remember? Just because Hallie is fucking brilliant and made it easy for you doesn't mean you should go through it again. It wasn't that bad, I say, and his face starts to redden. I think you're looking at it with rose-tinted glasses, Russ says carefully. I know Hallie made it manageable for you, but when she wasn't here, you complained about Thornton a hell of a lot. I don't remember that, I say. Robbie is now very red. There's a vein in his forehead I only usually see when we're losing. Well, I do, Robbie snaps. You complained a fuck ton, so much that I felt like I was taking the class with you. This is more fun than seems fair. If JJ were here, he'd tell me to do it, and he'd let me eat my burrito. Robbie snorts. JJ told you to get your dick pierced, and you told him that you'd rather swim with hungry sharks than ever take his advice. But sure, you'd listen to him about this. It's funny how you say, ask JJ and not Nate, who absolutely would not allow you to take a sex class. To Robbie's credit, that's exactly what I said. However, I've taken JJ's advice more recently, and it hasn't all gone horribly wrong yet. Did you start doing brain training or something? Why do you suddenly have the memory of an elephant? I ask Robbie. And you know it's not a sex class, right? It is definitely about art and literature. Robbie looks at his watch, then back at me. It's been 5 minutes of nonsense and not 5 minutes of you prioritizing your education. I'm being serious, Hen. Name your price. My price is my burrito. Give, I say to Russ, pulling the laptop toward me at an angle where they can't see the screen. Russ hands it over and they both sit, breathing loud sighs of relief, and unknowingly watch me type Hallie an email about my burrito. After a couple of hours of everyone pretending they're studying, Hallie and Aurora leave with the other guys to their respective houses. I want Hallie to stay, but I also want to work on her Christmas present, which I only decided to make a couple of weeks ago. She was cool with it and said she'd use her free time to study without me trying to distract her. I've noticed she says I distract her a lot, and I've been spending a lot of time trying to decide if she's hinting that I should stop. If it was anyone else, I'd ask them outright. But with Hallie, I know that she'd tell me whatever she thinks I want to hear. When I ask her if she's regretting not going home for the holidays, she tells me no. But I think I can tell that it's not the truth. She looks down before she smiles, and she lifts her shoulders up high, tilting her head to the side before saying, "It is what it is." Cammie and Aurora said Hallie says the same thing to them, which makes me want to do something extra special for her. And the good thing about Aurora is that she loves interfering and making plans. I'm about to find my tablet to continue with Hallie's gift when I hear my name being yelled from downstairs. "What?" I shout down in response. "Hallie is calling you. Take your phone off Do Not Disturb," Russ calls back. Oh shit, 6 missed calls. Sorry, ringer is off, I say when Hallie answers my call. "What's up?" "Is my laptop charger at your house?" she says frantically. Looking around my room, I spot it on the floor beside the slippers she left here. Yeah. I'm on such a roll with this chapter and my laptop is going to die. I'm going to forget everything I want to write. Oh my God, I can't believe I left without it. What was I thinking? She says. I can hear her rummaging around on the other end of the line. Can you bring it over, please? I'd come get it, but I need to get this out of my head. I'm on my way, I say, silently proud of her for asking. I'll be quick. Don't forget anything. Hurry, she yells as I grab a sweatshirt and put the charger in the pocket. Russ lets me borrow his truck so I don't have to jog over there. and it's another reminder that I really need to get my own car at some point. Looking at cars is boring, and every time I try to pick one, I end up distracted. It only takes 10 minutes from leaving the house to pulling into Hallie's driveway. And when I walk through the door she constantly leaves unlocked when she shouldn't, she's lying on her living room floor, surrounded by sheets of lined paper, covered in a more frantic version of her neat handwriting. "Laptop died," she says, tearing the paper from the pad and tossing it onto the growing pile. "Can't talk." I don't say a word as I plug the charger into the socket and connect it to her laptop. Picking up Joy, who's wandering dangerously close to Hallie's pile of papers, I tuck her under my arm as I walk around the kitchen, putting snacks onto a plate and grabbing a bottle of water from the refrigerator. I put them on the floor beside where Hallie is lying and drop myself into the chair with Joy. It's fascinating watching her process be so raw. Normally when she writes, it consists of her groaning at her laptop or being so into it, she zones out and doesn't hear me talking to her. When I remember to ask her how the book is going, she changes the subject quickly or ignores it if what she's done is good. Joy is purring on the center of my chest while I watch Hallie throw her pen down and lie against her forearms. "Hi." "Hello. I plugged in your laptop." Lifting her head, she looks at all the pieces of paper scattered around her, but I'd lose the scene. Moving Joy to my side, I hold open my arm. "Come tell me about it." Hallie climbs from the floor and shuffles over to my lap, maneuvering her legs over the arm of the chair. "I don't really know what to tell you. It probably won't make any sense when I read it back." "Tell me anything. I like listening to you talk." I run my hand up and down Hallie's shin as she tries to work out where to start. I'm trying to finish the second act, but because my twist is that she's marrying someone else, I've been writing their relationship basically not knowing who she's going to marry instead. Still rooting for my guy, but go on. And then I was like, he's standing at the front of the church, and why would your ex be at your wedding for starters? Great plot hole, Hallie, but why would he be at the front? Then I realized, what if she was marrying someone he knows, like his best friend? I don't like where this is going, but she's so excited I don't want to stop her. And it got me thinking about how when Will and I broke up, he kept all the friends. But what if they broke up, but she kept the friend, his best friend? Or they grew closer because they both wanted something more from this same person, and the thing that was missing brought them peace with each other as they both grieved what could have been romantically and platonically. So that's what you've been writing? Her and his friend? Kinda. Starting to set it up anyway. The thing I keep thinking is, what is the price of love? And how much is too much? At what point do you look at the choices you're making and decide the price is too high? How much should we sacrifice for someone we care about? She's glowing, and I can't stop watching her. I'm approaching this last act, and I honestly have no idea what's going to happen, so I just wanted to get all my thoughts down while I could before writer's block could hit me. She cups my face with her palm and kisses me gently. "Thank you for coming over so quickly." "When did you know you wanted to be an author?" I ask. I can't believe I've never asked her before. "When I was about 6 or 7, my mom took me to a kids' event at the library where the author was doing a reading, and I just thought it was so exciting and special. I can't even remember who the author was, but everyone was hanging on her every word, and I decided I wanted to do that. I want to see people hanging on your every word in a library," I say softly, resting my hand on her thigh. She picks it up, kissing my knuckles gently. "Hopefully."
Chapter 27. Hallie. There's something about walking out into the fresh December air, knowing I don't have to think about college again until the first week of January. That makes everything in my life so much better. Henry is engrossed in his cell phone on a bench when I walk out of the English building with Rory. He's completely oblivious to the group of women talking about him to his left when we walk toward him. He looks up as I reach him, smiling at me in a way that makes my heart pound. "Is the oxygen oxygening more today?" I ask when he stands, pushing his phone into his pocket and kissing my cheek. "Or is it me?" "Hallie's being weird today," Aurora says. "Like, really super weird and unnaturally joyous." His eyebrows crease, nose scrunching in the way it does. "It's you. Air is air." I have so many things I'm going to achieve over winter break, and I'm excited to not feel like a failure anymore. I say, I'm going to get ahead in everything and get my life in order. Sounds boring. How much more in order can your life get? Henry says, pulling my book bag from my shoulder and slinging it over his. I don't bother answering him, because he has no idea how many half-written and half-thought-out chapters I have collecting virtual dust on my laptop right now. I also need to type up the chapter I, for whatever reason, decided to write by hand. My first draft was supposed to be done, so I could spend the next couple of months editing before I need to submit in March. I still haven't finished the second act, and God knows what will happen when I get to the third. I'm so behind, but I've decided to see spending Christmas working as a blessing and not a disappointment, and that when class starts again, I'll be back to my usual undistracted and organized self. Yeah, I'm with him. You're one of the most put-together people I know, Aurora says, turning to face Henry. But speaking of people who don't have their lives together, how's the soul-crushing panic treating you? When's your last exam? You're being very judgmental about my choices for a person deeply in need of therapy, Henry says. And while my instinct is to gasp, Aurora laughs. It's this afternoon, and I'm genuinely not worried. I also think lying is fun. She looks down at her cell phone and smiles. Russ just texted to say he's finished. We're going Christmas shopping. Do you need me to pick anything up for you? I think she's talking to Henry at first, but then I realize she's looking at me. Sorry, what? Have you finished your Christmas shopping, or do you need some help? We're going to the mall, but if there's something specific you need, I can use the personal shopper service my mom has. They'll gift wrap and arrange for it to be mailed to Phoenix for you, too. I know it's not a huge deal, but Aurora's offer catches me off guard. She already did me a huge favor by helping me organize the gift from my siblings when they were hounding me. I'd never expect her to help with anyone else. I also can't think of a time when anyone has offered to help me at Christmas. I'm always in charge of making sure everyone has the right gift for everyone else, and people think nothing of it. I've finished already, but thank you for offering. No problem. Text me if you think of anything. Bye, lovebirds. Aurora lifts her phone to her ear as she walks away, and when she's out of earshot, Henry finally talks. I have 2 hours to kill. Do you want to break the no heavy petting in the library rule with me? An unexpected laugh bursts out of me, and he pulls me closer, laughing too. His hands settle on my neck, tilting my head back gently to look up at him. As festive and not at all voyeuristic as that sounds, I promised I'd work at Enchanted for a couple of hours to help with the last-minute gift buying as people start to leave town for Christmas. He pouts. Like, actually, are you saying no to me? You do keep telling me that I should say no to people. His thumb rubs along my jawline. I mean, everyone else, not me. Ah, well, the instructions were unclear, so I'll be saying no to everything you ask me from now on. That's not going to happen, though, is it? I'm taking you out later to celebrate surviving Thornton. I feel like everyone is looking at us, but I'm trying to tell myself it's in my head. We're standing so close together, talking in hushed voices, while Henry touches my face gently. I don't know how we ended up here, but I don't want it to stop. I just told you I'm saying no to everything you ask me, I tease, and I didn't ask you. My mouth opens to object, then closes, then opens again, but I don't have anything to fight back with because he's got me there. Are you being a goldfish? What's happening? You, Henry Turner. You're happening. You are constantly happening to me. He leans in slowly, grinning before kissing me in a way that makes my entire body tingle. Is that a good thing? Yes. I told you saying no to me wasn't going to happen. What should I wear later? I ask, apparently accepting his non-invitation with no objections. For our plans. He tucks my hair behind my ear. Something you like. You are so helpful. I know. It's one of my many talents. The day has flown by, and I'm grateful that I don't work in retail full-time. In a bid to decompress from the chaos that was working in Enchanted, I attempted to work on my book, and as a result, have left myself with not enough time to find matching shoes. By the time Henry lets himself into my house, I only have one. It takes all my powers not to drool when I look up from where I'm kneeling on the floor of my closet and spot Henry standing there in a suit and white shirt. "Why are you eye-fucking me?" he asks, leaning against the doorframe calmly. "I'm not," I argue, although I definitely might be. "Okay, it's the suit." "You see me in a suit every week. That suit is different." I don't know anything about men's fashion, but this one looks like it was made to mold to every muscle in his body. Not too tight, just enough to accentuate his physique. "You look really good." He just smiles, which I'm going to accept as agreement. Henry reaches into his inner suit pocket, pulling out a folded piece of paper. "I was going to do flowers, but I thought you might be bored of them." I could never get bored of anything you create. I open the piece of paper he hands me and find a drawing of me staring back. I'm in my living room reading a book with Joy in my lap. It looks like a photograph. "Did you do this from memory?" "Yeah, I started it a couple of weeks ago, but I finished it last night." "I thought you said you were studying last night," I say, my voice creeping higher than it should. "No, I said I was busy working. I never said I was studying." My jaw drops. "Hallie, if you're going to stay kneeling on the floor in front of me, with your mouth wide open, we might end up having a very different evening than the one I've planned. Just say thank you and hurry up." Every inch of my body gets hotter. "Thank you." "You're welcome. And you look really good, too." Henry watches me until I finally find my other shoe and holds out his hand to help me from the floor. I have 2 shoes. I'm ready. Do I get to know where we're going yet? "No," he says, smiling. "It's a surprise." We put the makeshift cardboard wall around my Christmas tree to prevent Joy from trying to climb it, and leave her with Destiny's Child's Christmas album playing for company. I truly believe that Henry would bring her everywhere we go in one of those cat backpacks if I let him. We sit in a comfortable quiet, letting the radio fill the silence between us as we idle in traffic. His hand is holding the inside of my thigh, and I'm trying to hold myself together. He turns the radio down, twisting in his seat to face me as we slowly creep down the highway. "Have you written anything today?" Maybe like 1,000 words before I started getting ready. I was pretty tired after helping at the bookstore. "And what were your imaginary friends doing for those 1,000 words?" he asks, eyes darting between the road and me. Is she dating his friend yet? No, the book moves around in time, so you see the key things in their story. I'm writing the past when she's worried she likes him more than he could ever like her, because he isn't a relationship guy. She's scared to get hurt, and she's keeping bits of herself back, which he hates. She wants him to prove that he deserves those bits before she hands them over, and he wants her to just trust that he can be the person she needs because what they have is special enough for the risk. And can he? Change for her? No. He keeps checking between me and the road, which is how I catch his furrowed brow. Why not? You're asking me to spoil the book for you? He nods. I don't know yet. I'm working it out as I go, mainly because I question if one person should change to be in love with another person. At what point do you eventually revert back to the person you were? And is the love even genuine if you had to become someone else to achieve it? I disagree, he says. I think the right person makes you the person you were supposed to be in the first place. I don't agree that you become a different person. That suggests people can't change through all the other factors that make people evolve that aren't romantic. What makes you say that? I've seen my friends change for the better because they fell in love with the right person. If people only fell in love when the other person became their perfect match, messy relationships wouldn't exist. People can't control when they fall in love. You wanted to love Will, but you couldn't. I take in what he's saying, and it seems so different from our first date when we talked about my idea. What happened to not valuing romantic love above the other types? What happened to complicated is exciting? He squeezes my leg playfully. Does she really have to marry someone else? I haven't written it yet, but yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to keep asking, he tisks. I still have faith in my imaginary man. He's going to pull it out of the bag and win her. The traffic picks up, and we revert back to our normal, comfortable silence. I realize where we're going when Henry takes a familiar exit, and I'm immediately glad I found my other flat shoe. I've always intended to visit the Bird and Bolton Art Gallery, but I haven't had anyone to go with. Henry climbs out of the car, immediately walking to my side and opening the door for me. He holds out his hand. You've really got this gentleman thing down, I tease. It's the suit. He threads his fingers through mine like he did earlier. Makes me act up. He produces 2 tickets when we reach the entrance and scans us through the barrier. I've always wanted to come here, I admit. Thank you for bringing me. I've been wanting to bring you for a while. I was just hoping I'd have something special to show you here. I let him guide me through the first floor. His hand grips my waist to gently tug me out of the path of someone staring at a pamphlet as they walk toward us. His finger runs down the length of my forearm. You have goosebumps. Are you cold? The AC is a little high. I flat out lie. Lying might be bad, but so is admitting that my body does weird, uncontrollable things in his presence. It's my fault for wearing this dress. The dress is perfect, and you look perfect in it, he says, shrugging off his suit jacket. Before I have time to object, he places it over my shoulders. I don't want you to be cold. Thank you, I say, but it comes out as more of a whisper. Why are you whispering? I don't know. Henry gives me a funny look and retakes my hand. It's supposed to be around this corner. We pass signs for a local up-and-comers exhibition on display through December. He stops in front of a large painting. It could be a photograph, it's so intricately detailed. The women are sitting together at a table outside. Light blue sea and small white buildings are their backdrop. Their intertwined hands rest on the table between wine glasses, and their faces are turned toward each other. The woman on the left has pale white skin and dark blonde hair, cut to a length that just skims her collarbone. Her blue and white collared shirt is unbuttoned at the top, and I can just about make out the Y and H initials hanging from a delicate chain around her neck. I'm captivated by how the artist has shown her laughing. I feel like I'm intruding on a private moment. The other woman has rich brown skin and long reddish-brown hair braided down to her chest, where it turns into perfectly identical curls. Her bone structure feels familiar, like I've met her before. The part of her outfit I can see is the softest shade of buttercup yellow, but the thing I can't take my eyes off of is her smile. It's mesmerizing. And even as someone with no knowledge of art, I can tell the time and care that's gone into this piece. Someone who loves these women painted this, I'm sure of it. Beneath the name of the painting is a much smaller rectangular plaque with black letters sitting on a white background. 2 women in love. Henry Turner. You painted this? I'm trying not to let the shock show on my face, since it feels like I spend a lot of time with my mouth hanging open around this man. Henry, it's stunning. Are they your mom's? He nods. I'm glad you like it. Okay, we can go now, he says, placing his hand on my waist. Wait, I whisper, twisting to face him. You're showing me your art, Henry. Why are you telling me like I didn't organize this? Because this is monumental for me. You don't like people looking at your work, and you're voluntarily showing me work that isn't of me or on me. Can you understand how special that makes me feel? You are special, Hallie, he says, leaning forward to kiss my forehead. Please tell me about the painting, Henry. When did you do it? It must have taken hours. Where is it? I did it during summer break. Russ was working at a summer camp. Nate, JJ, and Joe all moved away. Robbie was with Lola and visiting his parents. I had a lot of free time. It was on their anniversary vacation to Greece last year. They borrowed my camera for the trip, and I found it when I was looking for something else. They look so happy in the photo. I decided I wanted to paint it. What do they think of it? Wow, you're asking a lot of questions tonight. They haven't seen it yet. I forgot to tell them I'd submitted it. They both have some vacation time for Christmas, so I'll ask if they want to see it one of those days I'm home. They're going to want to see it, Henry. They're definitely going to want to. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so honored that you've shared it with me. Do you want me to take your picture with it or something? This is so special. I feel like we need to commemorate it somehow. Henry looks down at me like I have 3 heads. I'm good. Don't you want a picture to show people? Or to remember it? Short of picking him up and putting him next to the painting, I will convince him. If people want to see it, they can come here. It's an art gallery, he says calmly. People pass by us, not stopping to pay attention to the 2 people standing face to face, debating with each other. I don't care about these hypothetical people. I wanted to show you, and I have. But I want the experience of taking your picture next to your beautiful artwork, I say, definitely pouting, childish but hopefully effective. He shakes his head, the corner of his mouth tugging up into a smirk. I'm too busy to take a picture. He lifts both of his shoulders and tilts his head, giving me a look that says, What are you gonna do? You're too busy, I repeat. Number 1 in the Henry and Hallie Code of Conduct rulebook. We have to be honest about how busy we are. God, he's smiling really big now. Insufferable. How about we compromise? Both of his hands find my waist, and my pulse ping-pongs around my body as he walks me backwards slowly. There's no sound except my feet hitting the floor and our breathing. When I sense the wall behind me, he stops moving, letting go of me to take a few steps back himself. He pulls his cell phone from his pocket and holds it up. I'll take your picture with it. You're joking. If you want this picture to turn out nice, I recommend you stop talking and start smiling, because you look possessed in that last one. Oops, there's another one. Fine, I snap, smiling next to his painting. After 10 seconds, he finally lowers his phone. Beautiful. Do I get to see? He nods and walks over, handing me his phone. I'm deleting the bad ones, but they're my favorite, he groans as I pull up his camera roll. He wasn't joking. I really do look possessed. I spend more time deleting awful pictures than I do looking at nice ones. But at least I know I'm not going to come here one day and see it hanging on the wall. Are you done being a photography critic? We have a dinner reservation, and I'm so hungry. I'm not done looking at your work, I say. We stand side by side in silence, elbows touching, looking at the 2 people who made Henry Turner the man he is. How do you feel when you look at it? He mulls over my question for a little while, but I don't mind waiting. Lucky. What about you? Grateful.
Chapter 28. Henry. Normally, I don't love our Christmas party, but this year, it feels different. Robbie has relaxed a little with his party antics since starting grad school. I know he has a lot of work on his plate, as well as trying to prove to Faulkner and the College Board that he's responsible enough for a permanent job at the end of the year. We're still having our normal fancy dress party, but he hasn't gone over the top the way he has in previous years. He says it shows maturity and didn't like it when I said it seemed like poor time management, since he forgot to order the decorations by the cutoff. That said, our house still looks like Michael Bublé himself threw up on it. Michael, and I've been forced to listen to him enough that I feel like I can call him by his first name, has been playing for the past week. In between exams, we slowly decorated the house to meet Robbie's standards. Lola tried to help, but she's easily distracted and not great at taking directions. Ironic for someone who wants a career on stage. I immediately banished Aurora and Poppy for similar traits, but Hallie, Cammie, and Amelia were very helpful. I'm already drunk when guests start showing up, which makes everyone patting me on the back for our recently improved game performance more tolerable. People keep stopping to say hi to me and chat while I'm trying to mix a punch bowl for Hallie. Multiple women I've hooked up with keep trying to talk to me. I have been politely telling them I'm not available, which results in their faces dropping before walking off. Sure, I might not technically have a girlfriend, but I'm definitely not available. And the person I'm not available with really likes this punch I'm trying to concentrate on. After people we know had their drinks spiked a couple of months ago, we stopped making random shared drinks. But tonight is the exception because I'm going to guard it with my life. Cammie is coming, and it's her first party since October, so we have a system to keep drinks separate from the rest of the party to help her feel comfortable. Poppy has stopped drinking alcohol altogether after she said she found herself panicking as soon as it started to have an effect on her. Russ leans against the counter beside me. Breaking hearts isn't very Christmassy. The only thing I've broken today is the mistletoe above the front door. That went straight into the trash. There's no way I was giving one of the guys the opportunity to kiss Hallie when she gets here. What are you talking about? There's like 3 women outside comparing conspiracy theories about why you're not paying attention to them. He sips his beer to stop himself from laughing. They might need a support group once they see that post. Why is everyone around me so annoying? I woke up this morning to 1 million messages in our group chat because the insidious UCMH gossip page posted me kissing Hallie after her exam yesterday. I didn't look at it properly because I don't care, but Hallie was very embarrassed until I reminded her that she isn't allowed to be embarrassed with me. I add the final pour of vodka and grab us a cup to test it. When Russ takes a sip and his eye twitches and face tightens, I realize I forgot to add in the orange and pineapple juice, and I've basically given him lemon-flavored liquor. My bad, buddy. I feel like my tongue is sweating. Is that possible? It's the lemon. Or maybe the tequila and vodka. I can't be sure, I say, laughing at the way his face is twisting. Not to make this weird, but I'm glad you have your spark back after that bad time, Russ says. And that's when I realize he's a little buzzed too. You're a great friend and a great captain. Why are you making things weird? I ask. He rubs the back of his neck with the palm of his hand, then pretends to fix his Santa hat. I've said it now, so there's no going back. I'm just going to go wait for Rory to show up and for Robbie to announce the game. If Hallie blushes occasionally, then Russ blushes often, all the way to the tips of his ears. I'm not a huge fan of heart-to-hearts. They always feel awkward and unnecessary, but I believe it takes a lot to start one. Thanks for saying it. I appreciate it. Thankfully, it doesn't take long for the girls to show up. Hallie told me her favorite part of doing anything now is getting ready. She always wanted a big group of girlfriends she could do things with, and now she has one. I can see the white halo on her head bobbing through the crowd as she makes her way toward me in the kitchen. Her white dress stops halfway down her thighs, and she has white feathered wings poking out on her back. Are you a Quack Efron? I ask, looking her up and down. She throws her arms around my neck and kisses me, which catches me off guard more than anything. When she leans back and looks up at me, I realize that she's buzzed. She told me earlier that it's my job not to let her get drunk so she doesn't turn into a hungover nightmare. It's a plan I can get on board with. A duck? I'm an angel. Aurora appears behind her dressed in green. And what are you? I ask her. I'm a Christmas tree, duh. She motions to her green dress like I was somehow supposed to get that from just looking at her. You both look great for a chicken and a plant. Amelia and Poppy appear behind them with Cammy, and I try to guess what their outfits are supposed to be before I have to go through this again. Are you two supposed to be dominoes? Amelia snorts, but Poppy, who I assume oversaw costumes, judging by her reaction, looks offended. We're snow women. I finally look at Cammy, and I want to give up immediately. Did you get into patchwork quilting during your partying hiatus? I'm clearly Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. She folds her arm across her chest. What are you supposed to be? First of all, that's a Halloween movie. I point to the same hat I've been wearing for 3 Christmases. And I'm obviously Santa. The 5 of them stare at me with the same expression, but I can't place what it is. Respect, maybe? Awe and wonder? Hallie's arms leave my neck and travel down my body until she reaches the hem of my shirt and pulls it out. You're not even wearing a costume. I shrug. I'm an undercover Santa. I'm checking if the information I have on my list is correct or something. You're Santa's auditor. Aurora's head shakes slowly. Unbelievable and yet so on brand. Props to you for your consistent dedication to the bare minimum. I go above and beyond where it matters. So I've heard, lover boy, she says, and Hallie slowly turns to look at her. I look across the 5 of them. Did nobody think to be the Spice Girls? Well, Christmas Spice Girls? How on earth do you know who the Spice Girls are? Aurora says, shaking her head. I think she's irritated I saw the resemblance when she didn't. I don't know how they missed it, considering they all fit the bill perfectly. I played with JJ for 2 years. You don't make it out of that experience without knowing who the Spice Girls are. Why didn't you tell me? That would have been such a good outfit. I can't do everything for you, Aurora. I was busy coming up with my own outfit. At least you have something for Halloween now, which is lucky, since Cammy is already wearing her Halloween outfit. You're not even wearing a costume. No, never mind, Aurora says, interrupting herself. You know what? It's Christmas. I'm not letting you get a rise out of me for your own amusement. I'm going to find my boyfriend because I bet he can tell I'm a tree. He's in the den, I say, nodding toward the adjoining room. He's also an undercover Santa. Not if I have anything to do with it, she says as she walks off. I explain the drink situation and try to reassure the rest of them that they'll have a good, safe time. Amelia, Poppy, and Cammy thank me and follow Aurora to the den, leaving me alone with Hallie. You look beautiful, I tell her. The most beautiful swan I've ever seen. She pins me with a look as she shuffles her wings. Oh, so I'm a swan now. I wanted to be a donkey, but I wasn't allowed. Apparently, a donkey wouldn't make you fall to your knees and be overcome with desire, because that's something that's important. Aurora says weird stuff sometimes. Oh, it wasn't Aurora. It was Jaden. He called Amelia while I was there and wanted to know what my outfit was. Her eyes flutter closed as I run my finger beneath where her cheekbones are shimmering under the lights and tuck her hair behind her ear. Something I do because I like to hear the way she tries to steady her breathing when I touch her unexpectedly. We should really have a rule about listening to JJ about anything. She looks down at her dress, then back up at me innocently. I guess you're right. It definitely didn't make you fall to your knees. I've wanted to get on my knees for you from the second you walked in, but it wasn't because of your dress. It's because of how much I like making you come. Her cheeks turn red immediately, and I feel a kind of smug satisfaction from getting a reaction out of her. It amazes me how you can go from sweetly reassuring our friends that their drinks will stay safe to this in under 5 minutes. I pick up the punch bowl and ladle from the counter and start walking toward the den with her. You'd be amazed what I can achieve in under 5 minutes. The house party has overspilled into the garden, and it feels like every person at UCMH is in our house right now. I took a seat on the couch in the den and put the punch bowl on the table beside me earlier, and it's where I've stayed. I've noticed that now Hallie is with me. People don't talk to me as much because they all want to talk to her. I love it. If anyone tries to include me by asking me a question, I defer to my little social butterfly, and I'm back in the safety zone again. The only bad part is when she gets up to use the bathroom and I have an unestablished amount of time to fend for myself. She goes with her friends, and they take a fucking lifetime. Maddie drops into the seat beside me. Did you know about this? Define this. Maddie gestures to Robbie on the other side of the room, talking to a more animated than normal Bobby. There's no game. So? Robbie follows Bobby across to where we're sitting, rolling his eyes dramatically. He's not joking, Bobby says as he throws himself onto the couch, making it shake. I feel like I'm missing an important part of what's happening, I say, looking between my feuding friends. There's no game, Robbie and Bobby say at the same time. I try hard to understand what's happening with the various grievances I'm made aware of on a day-to-day basis. Nate played mediator, and now it falls to me. But this one has me totally lost. So? If there's no game, what's the point? Why are we all even here? Maddie groans. The circle grows as Russ and Aurora appear, and Hallie returns from the bathroom with Cammy. What's happening? It's my new low-key vibe, Robbie explains, without really explaining. The days of drunk Jenga are behind me. Plus, we all know how that ended last time. How did it end last time? Cammy asks, filling her cup from the punch bowl beside me. Russ and Aurora fucked, and Henry ran down Maple Avenue naked, Maddie says. Two beautiful things that wouldn't have happened if you didn't stay true to yourself, Rob. Nate and Stassi, you and Lowe's. It happened at your parties, where there were games. Hen and Hallie, too. You're the invisible string brother. Why are you holding out on the rest of us? Does he always talk like this? Cammy asks, looking at Maddie with a disgusted but kind of amused expression. Like if he just keeps going, people will believe what he says. Because I'm almost 100% confident that's not what invisible string theory is about. Me and Hallie listen to the song about it every single work shift. Yes, multiple people say at once. When he's really drunk, he likes to reimagine things to suit whatever he's trying to do, Robbie adds. You don't need a drinking game to have a good time, Maddie. Wait, we didn't meet at a party, I argue, glancing at Hallie, who looks like she's questioning why she ever wanted friends. We met in a bookstore. That you were at with Aurora, who you wouldn't know if Muffin hadn't slutted himself out after, drumroll please, a game at Robbie's farewell and fuck-off party, Bobby says. I'm seeing the vision. Robbie, you need to come up with something quickly. The expansion of our friend group relies upon it. I'm good with not expanding, I say. If anything, I think we're going to lose some people. You'll miss us when we graduate, Chris says, appearing behind Robbie. Where did you go? You missed Maddie being really weird, Russ says. Chris holds up a red package. I ran home to get Uno, Muffin, because I'm not witnessing the downfall of Robert Hamlet in my lifetime. And what are we going to do with Uno? Robbie drawls, twisting in his wheelchair to look at Chris behind him. Chris shrugs, and it's clear he hasn't thought that far ahead. Anything can be made into a drinking game. You taught me that. Robbie turns back to face me and pinches the bridge of his nose. I have to fly home in the morning. If I miss my flight, one of you is driving me to Colorado. That's the spirit, Maddie says. I'll find the shot glasses. I stay in my seat beside the punch bowl and watch all my friends head toward the dining table. I think half of them are following out of curiosity to see what Chris manages to come up with, and the others somehow believe Robbie is the key to getting them laid. Hallie sits beside me and watches in silence. I put my arm across her shoulders, and she cuddles into me, smiling up when I kiss her temple. You don't want to play? She shakes her head and rests it against my shoulder. I'm good here with you. You don't want to test if Robbie's party game is the center of a happy relationship? Nope. Like I said, I'm good here with you. Allie? Yeah? Where did your eagle wings go?